We've got new things that we're obviously planning for this year that will...
Very, very exciting things.
Very exciting, that we'll let you know. But firstly, we're back in the truck.
Yeah, we're back from Morocco, and
the truck's been sat up for 3-4 months. And we have quite a bit of things to do, as you probably would have seen from the last video. We've got some teething problems.
absolutely. So Mark has devised a list
Yes.
of, not a huge list, but list of improvements prior we go onto this new exciting adventure.
Yeah, so last time you'd seen us, we were in Morocco. We were off road doing sections and things like that. And
So you really put her through the paces, didn't you, Mark?
yeah, well, we didn't have that long off road really. You know, the sections that you've seen there, we were sort of 3-4 days maximum. We were off road. So, and a lot of it is just tracks, isn't it? Just gravel tracks.
But it was varied, wasn't it? It was a bit soggy, a bit
Yeah.
gravelly. I think it was a great test for the truck.
Yeah, as I said in the last video, you know, there was some riverbeds, old riverbeds and things you had to drop into in the sand and then go through the riverbed and then sort of come out and turn round bushes really to get back out, and it was really, really deep, loose sand in those areas, and you know, the back end of the truck was sliding. You had to like really get in the proper gear and sort of almost drift it round and things. Well, most of you will know how it will drive in the sand anyway. So that's what we were up to, and it's shown obviously quite a few faults once we started to get into some of those areas, and the sort of the back end dug in kind of thing, and we were driving. She started to sort of almost bunny hop to a degree. She started bouncing like this, and so we realised that we're sitting at about 9 tons. She's a 10-ton truck, you know, it's a bit heavy. So we realised that we needed to do bits and pieces with the suspension.
And one thing is, Mark is going to get onto suspension. We'll show he researched for a good while and invested in this fancy kit. So he's going to show you that. But obviously our relentless bellows
Utter
thing.
pain.
It was
pain.
yeah. It's one of the biggest problems we got is that the bellows keep falling off, and that's why everything takes twice as long. By the time Mark goes, he's trying to fix it just now as well, and it's not easy. And he puts them in, and then another section, and they are off again. They're just under spec.
Yeah, because we've obviously got a really good torsion-free subframe, which is great, but unfortunately when the unit goes, the pod goes one way and the cab goes the other, the bellows pop off, which leaves us open to the elements.
So these are the bellows Mark is talking about. So what was the problem, Mark, with the bellows?
There's not enough concertina bits, so when it goes to full articulation, I suppose, it straightens out and then pops off. We need more of those little bellow bits so it can basically be a lot longer. You know, because you don't need much for one of these trucks to, you know, you see the pictures of them full articulation and things. It doesn't take much to do it. You know, on a straight road with some, you know, if you've got a pothole here and a pothole there off road,
Yeah.
one wheel goes in, the other wheel goes in, that's you. It's pop, off it comes. And you know, it literally was every 15 minutes. It wasn't as if you were really in about the rough stuff.
The nitty-gritties, yeah.
It was all the time. And the other thing that's a big pain about it, and we're dragging on about it, is it's the cab, and then you've also got the wheel right under the cab. So if you're off road in the sand and the dust and the dirt, as soon as that bellow comes off, it's just caked
Covers
in
it.
dust. You know, you have
Yeah.
to stop immediately. So it's not something that you can say, oh God, I'll get to in 10, 15
Yeah.
minutes. It's something, when it does pop off at the bottom, you have to stop there.
Yeah, and the thing as well is that kind of like increased our journey time on the days
Yeah.
massively, so made us really, really tired,
Yeah.
especially around the CD alley area where we, as Mark says, constantly like stopping, starting, but it's nothing we could do. We have to just persevere with that.
Yeah.
Here, what we've done is we've brought the truck part basically closer. This part here, I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but that part here was actually against the truck. It was attached to the truck, so we've brought the whole thing forward and got a bigger bellows. So now the bellows are
a shorter amount.
So yeah, well,
Yeah.
just now you can see all the concertina little accordion things all, whereas beforehand they were
Stretched a bit,
before
yeah.
they'd even started, so it
Yeah.
never had a chance.
Yeah, well, we've got quite a bit to do there. We've got quite a list, you know, because there's a lot of things that we never thought about that just aren't working out. Our fridge freezer is a National Luna. It's a 50 or a 60, I can't remember, weekender, which is a double part. So you've got a little sort of freezer box and a fridge. And they always said, we never used it like this when we were overlanding in the truck. The little part at the end for the two of us was always fine for the freezer.
It was,
and
yeah.
then the fridge was our fridge compartment. And that was fine, but we anticipated using the National Luna in the fridge box in between the two seats in the cab as our freezer. And then every now and again we would take something out of there and put into our fridge in the habitation pod. But it just wasn't good enough. But I'm not saying it wasn't good enough. It wasn't adequately spec'd by me, because when we were in the Sahara we were hot in the cab. So if you're 35, 36 degrees in the cab, that fridge in there in the cab itself, breathing from the cab, has got a terrific amount of work to do to try and drop that to minus 16, 17, 18 inside. And it just wasn't doing it.
No,
It wasn't capable.
No, and we had packed some chicken and different things for the kids, and I ended up lobbing all out. So the plan is what to do now, Mark?
So what the plan is now is, somebody actually mentioned that, if I remember right, a long time ago in one of the comments, and I'm going to take them up on that.
So Mark is going to do a demonstration on this fabulous improvement we have now. So these were the wee tables I was actually referring to earlier. We had to actually demount them before we actually got access to the fridge, but now the story's changed, haven't it, Mark?
Yeah, and I've taken a little corner out, welded all that back up all nice and neat so it doesn't catch the children. We've also, where all the vents and fans were inside coming into the truck for the fridge, I've sealed this box up completely.
Oh,
so
have
this
you?
fridge is not part of here now, and there's vents in the floor at the back, facing back, so the dust can't get in. So this thing breathes, the fridge now breathes and gets its cool air and its hot air in and out of, there's a hot air vent at the back at the top and a cool air at the bottom.
Also, I'm just sorry, Mark, I just want to also say that we are not going to, you know, this, what was the make of the fridge? I forgot
National
the name.
Luna, this
National
one.
Luna, yeah. It is apparently you can switch on a freezer only mode, which we did try out for the Morocco trip. It did not work. So in this trip, we are planning to just use it as a fridge, aren't we,
A
Mark?
fridge freezer, what it was
To give a
designed
chance.
for. It's called a 50 litre overlander. So what we've done now is this can lift up straight up like that with its gas struts, and we're straight into the fridge, which is two baskets like that, and then it's got the freezer compartment, which is smaller, that size there, so we can have lollies or whatever for the kids. That'll remain a freezer, and this will be
The
a
fridge
And as you can
compartment.
see, this all works great, but we have got our concerns that under off-road conditions, or if we have what do you call it, corrugations or the like, that is what it's going to do.
And it's not going to be
So
maintained.
our fridge is going to be, and freezer is going to be hopeless again. So quite simply, we're just going to go back to normality. The lovely bit that AV has done for us here with this great design, we're just going to take it away, and we're going to go back to, we haven't altered anything to the clip that's here on the fridge.
Yeah.
So we're just going to go back to this will lift up fine. We'll unclip the fridge and we'll open it ourselves.
Yeah,
No
and-
biggie.
and-
It's a great idea, but it's just not going to work for us.
Absolutely. To be honest, that's my personal opinion, but I think if you got a design feature for a product, you should stick with whatever it's designed rather than if the clip is there. You know, like a fridge, when you push the fridge closed, it almost like seals itself, and I think there would be the lack of the sealing. Even if it would be heavy enough and it wouldn't rattle, Mark, I still think there would be an issue.
We're not taking the chance.
We're not taking the chance, yeah, for sure. So no, but that's really is so good now, and kids can use the tables, and we
It's a-
can access the
Exactly, I mean,
fridge.
it's a big part of the build.
It is,
you know,
yeah.
And this is all wired through.
I mean, there was a point even because it was so not used, we were even thinking, shall we just lob you out? Because at the end of the day, at one point, we were not even using it. What's the point to lob this thing about and use all the fuel if you don't use it? So hopefully it's going to be good use now for us.
Well, exactly. I mean, taking this away and putting in lower, got another couple of Gomo boxes in here, so more access back and forth, it would have been great. You know, there's no issue.
Yeah.
But I think this will be better. I mean, again, we're looking at a bigger trip, longer hours. So if the kids, as I say, can have lollies and
Some juice and
a
some
sandwich,
chocolate.
whatever, all nice and fresh, a nice apple juice or something inside that's all nice and cool. It's just going to lend itself to a better environment. Yeah. So that's where we are really. That's the size of it. Going to Africa, and we're trying to get ourselves prepared. It is booked. We have confirmed the trip. We've paid deposits. We are getting vaccines. We're buying spaghetti. We're loading Gomo boxes.
I actually said to my friend the other week and to Mark, it was only 2 weeks ago, I bought my first 2 boxes of spaghetti on promotion, and I said that's for the truck. So as from 2 weeks ago, I'm now starting to, you know, get things on promotion, because I don't believe you can go in the shop and just buy what you need. First of all, you will forget half of them. It's going to be very expensive for you. So I'm buying on promotion, putting them in it worked for me for Morocco and Spain, so I'm going to do the same. Apart from chocolate, because we wasted a lot of chocolate, didn't we, Mark?
A lot of it melted, went
Yeah.
white and turned that horrible.
See, I thought that when it melts, it goes white, but you still can enjoy it, but it was terrible taste. Yeah, but so all these exciting things, we'll try to film more to show how we're getting on, including the travel to the port and things like that. So it could be helpful for somebody.
Yeah. And as I say, we're completely green. We're novices at this. If there's anything that anybody wants to know,
chuck our way.
How we're doing it, or things that they think we should be doing or taking into consideration. You know, we're doing quite a few things and alter them as we go.
And it's a tiny bit expensive for
expensive,
us.
yeah. So anybody that's got any better ideas,
even like this with the fridge, I mean,
Yeah.
the gentleman suggested, and for us it's a treat. So
throw things our way.
yeah. These cushions, look how thick they are. Obviously we designed it this way, but we are going again and make some changes to that as well, aren't we, Mark?
Yeah. You live and learn. You know, so we designed this to be as big and thick as this, as it is our bed.
Yeah.
It's always going to be our bed. We don't have the luxury of having a pre-made bed in this unit. So we wanted it mattress-esque, but it's just not working out there either. And even the mattress, we had it specially made. You know, we've got a tougher foam at the bottom, and then it's a bonded in, almost a memory foam on top. But we still carry a memory foam, one of the bamboo toppers underneath the seat that we put out every single time. So this mattress still isn't comfy enough when you put all the sections in.
And another problem is that the measurements, we never took.
I measured it exact.
Yeah.
So by the time we put the little fluffy stuff inside that, and then this material and everything else on both sides,
Yeah.
it's really quite tight. So
we're always like wrestling it.
Lambs on it, and heavens knows what
Yeah,
else.
and so it's an undertaking every time, and I think we get quite hacked off about it. So Mark's idea is we'll just reduce the thickness of the foam and make
Get
it a
it
tiny
softer.
bit smaller,
Yeah.
so we can like slot it in. Like Mark has a caravan for his work, and that was terribly thin mattress, but it works. You know, it's easy to put together. And I guess we are struggling with the time it takes for us to set up for the bed, then dismantle the bed. We need a little bit.
Especially with the next up and coming trip,
Yeah.
because we won't be on our own.
No.
And even here, you can see in the, that we are looking at the best part of pretty much what it advised, sort of 6 inches, and I think it was 4 of the under and then 2 of the topper, but
It was nearly 7, no? Let me see.
nearly 7 inches. But we see here, when it's actually sitting here, you've only got, you know, a small amount of the seats. When you go into lounging about mode, you're quite upright, aren't you? Really?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's almost like it bounced forward, so it absolutely isn't comfy.
So a couple inches off the bottom and a couple inches off the back.
Because you also need to keep the same thickness, because it forms the base of the bed, so both have to be the same thickness.
you know, the foam, this one, the same as that.
Yes.
Because I would, yeah, but you know, for a seating position, this would be nice to be thinner, and
Yeah.
that could stay, because that's actually not that bad.
Yeah, but,
we can't do that.
So we can really do it coming down, and that was the issue, because I'd measured it dead from there to the wall.
Yeah.
And by the time you get all the other stuff on it. Anyway, these are going to have to get taken off and remade, slightly comfier, slightly smaller, and that'll be fine.
Another issue for us was the light.
Yes.
Super
You'll
dark.
see we've got a disco going on at the moment.
This is lovely though, but that kept like failing as well.
This has been on for about the last 3 months. These lights have worked great. They really have. It's a little strip and it's got a little app on the phone, and they do what they can do. We only have that light in the kitchen and these lights here as our
Main
working
lights,
lights, as
yeah.
all our lights, which is pants. It really is. If you're trying to, you know, make yourself a toasty at evening time, the kids are sleeping away, and you're flummoxing about with these things, you can't turn the big light on because it's too bright and blah blah. So we have to come up with another
For
solution.
the preparation for the food, we of course do use this light.
Yeah,
We do.
it's great.
And it is great, and it works well, and you can tilt it, you know, you can move it this way or that way. It is fine, but the problem is the area for eating food, and sometimes we prepare food on the table there and things like that, and then it's dark.
Yeah, because it's a small kitchen, so when you're preparing bigger meals, you
Yeah.
are working on the table
Yeah.
as it is there just now.
And that one doesn't illumine enough.
Nah.
It doesn't. So what's your plan, Mark?
So we've got two projects to do now, two pincer movements, and you can have a think about this yourselves, because I'm not overly convinced. But what I'm going to do, or what I want to do, is we have a lot of Apple kit as far as iPads are concerned, as far as pods, watches, phones. We are sort of an Apple family, so we're going to involve that in the truck, and I'm going to bring in an Apple speaker. We do have the internet. We will be investing, which will be another video. We will be investing in the Starlink to go away with.
Yeah, because obviously we will talk about this trip for the third time I'm mentioning, but it's going to be a very long trip, so we need means to be
Back
reachable.
at work and things like that. So anyway, we will be investing in Starlink, so we will have an internet connection. The truck has proven to be very good as far as its battery systems are concerned. Some things are not quite so good.
Touch food.
Yeah, I don't want to digress and push yourself off, but you'll see that we have a big hole up here at the moment. Our Victron system, its servo unit.
That's the whole Mark was talking about.
Okay. So that's our touch panel there for the Victron. So our servo or gerbo unit, however you say it, has failed. So that we cannot monitor the truck. The truck can't speak to its own components. We can't download software updates. We can't do anything with the Victron. So I sent that back to Chris at UK Mail.
I got a food on the word.
So what do you need to survival?
In one the board.
Minecraft.
Yeah, baby Riva not feeling too well. He's off nursery, so
Yeah, he's in with us today. So we got back to Chris at UK Mail, who asked for the unit to be sent down so he could do some tests on it. So he did do tests on it, and it proved to be failed. So Victron are replacing that, obviously free of charge. It's in warranty. Chris has got it just now, and he is reprogramming it, and then it will come back up. So we're happy enough with the electrical system and the 240 system. So as far as the lights are concerned, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the nano leaf strips up here and a nano leaf strip here, taking away the 12 volt and replacing them with 240.
but is this a good move or not? We're not sure.
Something I didn't want to do to start off with, because it's twofold, and one of them is the 240 system. Having it on all the time is something I didn't really want to do, because the oven's on, the fridge is on, and they override the 12 volt system. So where you've got the 12 volt fridge, it goes to 240. But the biggest one is of it all is the actual Victron kit itself, the inverters and all the rest of it. They use quite a serious amount of power just to power itself. So to have the 240 on, the Victron kit is probably using between 15 and 20% of the battery just itself, just to provide the 240. But as I say, the solar on the roof, we do use, obviously, as you've seen, a lot of campsites, as many as we can with the kids, so we can sometimes get plugged in, even if it's only, you know, down to 8.
We do it anyway because the supplement in finances wise isn't great, so we opt for it if we can, don't we, for a bit of electrical plug-in.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you're in the campsites, for us, if you're in the campsites, you've got your water discharge. There's 4 of us in here, remember, with this toilet and things. So you've got your water discharge easy. We're not throwing it someplace silly, which we wouldn't do anyway. You've got your discharge for your sink and your shower, and you've got your plug up where you can keep yourself charged up for the morning. And you're also given to the local community. I mean, we're not sitting in, you know, driving past a campsite to park myself up in a bush someplace. So,
and we will continue for this trip as well.
As much as possible.
I mean, this trip is going to be very rural. Whether there is going to be electrical connections, not quite sure. But yeah, as Mark says, we do try to support.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they make living out of it. And
the thing is, as well, when you're looking at the way we travel, this is not overlanding in its raw form of leaving the house and never coming back for 3 years. We're overlanding as in going to an area, exploring that area, doing as much as we can, leaving the truck, flying home and coming back and carrying on again. So when you're doing that and you're taking flights into consideration, you're taking shipping the truck into consideration, the few scraps of pounds here and there to go into a campsite every second night or every night, it's irrelevant. So we've decided, well, bleating on again, that we're going to put the 240 volts up there. And what we were thinking is getting a kit of the white squares and putting them either right through the middle here, because they're very, very thin, putting them right through the middle, and then possibly even across, coming over here a touch, because we need to get them to a position where I can get a wire, because there's no ducts. It'll get wired in, the wire will come into this panel here, and then down through the electrical duct underneath, and then into the 240 system that connects in underneath here.
which really would work fine.
Which would work fine, but then again, as we say, that's everything then on 240, which is good and bad to some degrees. But the main thing is with that, we can turn it to a bright white light.
Yeah.
Have this place flooded with light if the kids are doing paint-ins or we're making food or whatever, and then at night time we can either turn that off completely or we can even make that red. Whereas the hexagonal ones that you've got have only got a few different warm colours, whereas the white ones are full, same as these. They can turn any
Well, the
colour.
V nano leaf, the V strips in my kitchen, honestly, they brighten the place on a white setting.
It's lovely.
It is really, really, really bright.
It's
So
lovely.
that's how they look.
Well, we have sticky pads thus, which is fine because obviously we've got a fiberglass shell. So give them a clean down with some acetone or something like that, and they'll stick better than they're meant to. This can't be any worse. But the last ones I fitted had little snap-on lugs. This is some kind of different design now. We've got a different thing. So these are obviously, they go into the back of here to make the connections from this one to the next one. The other ones were just little snap-in things. But anyway, we'll have a look at these.
This is probably going to slide in, yeah? This is like a slot or something. No.
They'll slide in there, I would think, and hit those 3 things there, or hit those 3 things there. And
Look,
then,
and it says tape here, so it's like this, Mark.
yeah, that's what these are for.
Okay.
Little power outlet thing. It's got one as well, you see.
Oh,
And so wherever you want, anywhere in that line, but you can only go so far with them, you know. There's
Is it like no, you can't overload?
You
the-
can maybe put 30 in a row or something, I can't remember. And then this needs to plug in to some place. You want it like that, so the thing is, are out like that, yeah?
Yeah, either or.
Yeah?
Yes.
Right, so what we need to do
What do you
now-
think? What's best, in or out?
Concurrent.
Okay.
Probably whatever's easiest, because it all looks fine and nice now, but you know yourself, once you're tired and you come in from
Yeah,
exploring monsters, that you're like, oh, there is a damn thing.
yeah.
So what I would suggest is that we touch it against it, yeah?
Yep.
Like there.
Yeah.
Right in
Touch
the
against
middle.
it, because that will let you to keep it in line.
And then go up.
Yeah. So Mark, every time when he puts a square on, he plugs in the device just to make sure that they're all working, because it turns out that it's really hard to connect
Get
them.
up with these ones.
You see, like that we slot there, you need to like align them, and it's hard. The sticky's on already, isn't it? Because it ends up sticking on the ceiling.
The last ones were like thick things you snapped in the back, and then you push the other one up against it, it snapped into it. These ones you've got to get through.
Yeah, but I don't think it's last ones. It's the hexagons. So maybe hexagons got a different type of.
Yeah,
Maybe these ones are just standard type as they are, you know.
cheaper.
You ready to see this school? Mark. Look. Check out this. What do you think?
Everybody needs a bit bigger.
So what else do you have in mind?
There's a few things. There's things. The spare wheel at the back, I'm going to get either a box underneath or where the spare wheel is, because
Why don't
it's
we go out and have
turned.
a look?
I got this unit. It was just on a website. They do some overlanding stuff in the UK. This was on a sale thing actually. It's a bit of a funny size, quite a small thing you can see, but it's ideal for us because what I wanted to do was to fit it. Let's see if I can just roughly mount it up.
It was a challenge to get the screws for it, wasn't it? Bolts.
Yeah, it's roughly going to go, say, there, and that's so it's not going to cause any problems for clearance or anything. But what that does is, I've got the air jack and the parts for the crane up there, the sort of bit that comes out.
Yes.
The air jack, a few braces, and big long sort of tire lever things, and they're all inside, and you know you're moving them all the time, and they're also really heavy. So I thought if I could just get them on the back here with just your high vis vests, your recovery strops, because I've got two U-bolts, and they're like 10-12 ton rated for me to pull or to me pull somebody else out, and a strop that's about 18 ton rated. I can't remember exactly what they are, but they're big things, and they're really heavy. So if I can get all that in there, the tyre inflation tubes, everything, then you know exactly where it is. We're
Yeah. And not that you need it constantly, it's an occasional use.
Yeah, but the thing is with this trip, because it's a bigger trip, is you know where it is, and if it's inside here, you've got to move things about, and it's like, remember what happened in Marzuga? It was like, we've got a day off-roadish.
Yeah.
Is it worthwhile getting all this stuff out, lowering the tyre pressures, blah blah blah, you know? And to be fair, there was probably only about 3 or 4, maybe 5 hours of that was really tricky off-road piece in the sand. Could it have done with the tyres going down? Yeah, but I just couldn't be bothered. Whereas
Yeah.
if we had this and it was quite easy,
Yeah.
you're not going to take that much problem to lower them down, go on that off-road section, blow them back up again,
So that's kind of what we're thinking.
For us, it's going to be a major undertaking. You're
That'll
talking
take-
about
that'll
us.
Take, that'll take about 3 months to get that done.
For us. For standard people, probably wouldn't take that.
Maybe we'll do it in an afternoon.
Yeah.
But for us, it'll be 3 to 4 months.
I'm afraid you don't have as long left, so you should have started a bit earlier.
Well, we maybe have to get somebody else in. That's the thing.
Okay, let's get on with it then.
Oh, the cab shock mounts rebuilt and strengthened. That's quite a big thing. At the back of the cab, there's 2 shock absorbers which let the cab bounce. We've had them upgraded to the heavy duty ones. But when we were off road, because we've got the roof rack and the roof rack's quite heavy,
Yeah.
and the fridge, we've got quite a bit more weight in the cab than it was designed to have. We're looking at light and some other bits as well. But the actual shock mounts themselves, you can see where it's been off road, they're just slightly bent up. So what I want to do is take them off, weld on larger steel plates, and then weld them onto the back of the truck so that we've got really, really firm things that let the suspension just do its job, but it won't in the future damage. There's wires and air hoses underneath at the back axle where we've fitted the waste tank.
Can you show this all? In
You can't really see that underneath, but where we've fitted the waste tank sits there and its frame comes along and there's wires under that, and the axle actually comes up past that. So the bump stops are above it. So what can happen off-road in a really big, as we experienced in the riverbed, if the back end comes down really heavy, it could come up and possibly damage some of those wires. So we're going to have to put them in a duct or move them all together. So we have to do that. We'll have to fit checker plate on the front of the roof and make a skid there. You'll all remember what happened in France. So I need to get that permanently repaired and something, if I ever do that again, to stop me doing that. And then we've got Velcro we want to put in here, but on the other side, a Velcro screen here on the cab side, because as you can see, even now in the middle of winter, we've got quite a few of our little friends kicking about in here just now. So you can imagine in any hotter countries that being a bit of an issue. So we need to get this sorted out.
Especially with this new upcoming trip.
The staircase, when we designed the staircase outside, you'll see that it slides out and comes down. It works lovely.
They were quite loose, so we've had them reworked so they're really stiff now. And the other thing that was the problem with these, when the truck moves on its suspension or even on its torsion-free frame in the wind and things, this...
When we are in a static position, you mean,
Yeah, once they're down and we're inside the truck,
Yeah.
even us walking about in the truck, the kids playing and things like that, the truck rocks. And what happens is this goes in and in until it basically hits here, which only leaves you a step like this.
Yeah.
So when you come out, you're like, oh, it's quite dangerous.
Do you not think that initially it wasn't as bad? It got worse and worse and worse progressively.
Yeah.
I almost felt like there was like a loose screw or
I
something.
don't think it's so much a loose screw, it's just everything loosening off. You know, everything was tight when we first,
Got
after
it.
after off-road sections and things, and everyone's getting moved about more. Things are natural and bearings getting looser. So what's happened now is we've got a spring. You probably won't see it. It's like a gate handle
I think
here.
we can actually.
A little gate handle. What we can do is we put the sliding bolt across, and it locks.
Yeah.
So this can't go back in, which is a good thing.
So we are still very happy with our steps. I think they're great steps. But our aim and the ethos of us is to go and see the places, not so much this is the means to get to these places. Even like the Morocco trip, I mean, we could have never ever done it and no any other means than, in city alley. So I think we want to be comfortable and make it as easy as possible for us.
As far as we're concerned, and the reason for this channel was to have an overlanding truck that we can go out and do things and come back. We're not overlanding full time. But not only that, it needs to get to places on the beaten track, off there. So a standard motorhome, one for us, even big Concords and things like that, are not robust enough. They're not got enough ground clearance. They're not four-wheel drive, and mainly they do not have enough storage of liquids. So we can't have a ton of water in a white motorhome. We can't have 1,000 kilometres worth of fuel in a white motorhome to be able to get through some of these areas that we want to get through to see what we want to see. But apart from that, you know, it's you know, we would like to
I think this is also
emulate the
absolutely.
motorhome.
This is also the reason why we are going to cut down the foams and things to make our life a bit easier, because there is things that it's a pain, isn't it? We stop and you want to be just relaxing, quickly setting things up and relaxing. And talking about this, Mark, is also, we'll show you later, but you bought a new way of, not new way, but a new equipment for cooking outdoors, because the one we took out from our overlanding 4x4 Land Rover, and it just hasn't worked out for us, has it?
No, and I don't know why, you know, because we had the standard little blue gas bottle, I can't remember the numbers and things, that everybody has, and it worked okay as far as heat was concerned. We've got the underslung gas tank now with an external connection point, and when we've tried using it when we've been out, it just doesn't get hot enough. It just takes forever. And then on the back of that, I bought a Weber barbecue, the little
Round thing.
little round one. We have one at the house, and it's the best thing I've ever had. It's a brilliant barbecue, but I just can't get this one to.
No.
It's probably user error, but I've had to bore holes in the bottom of it to get the briquettes. So even when we've got a little camping chimney for the briquettes that you light and pour it in, it just dulls down straight away. You know, there's just not enough airflow, whatever. So I'm going to abandon all those outdoor cooking things, and I'm going to go for a CADAC 30 system, like a lot of other people have, especially caravans, where you pull the legs down, connect the gas to it, and it's got 2 or 3 different ways of cooking, whether it's going to be a pot or a kettle or a wok or whatever.
Absolutely, because we still want to cook outdoors. You know, the whole point is to be outdoors, and we did feel a wee bit limited on that.
These are holidays. It's not a way of life. This is not our lifestyle. We stay in a house.
But however, you know that mealie, oh my god, it's like the best thing in the world. I mean, it's eye-wateringly expensive, but because the outdoor facility for cooking didn't work out for us, I mean, mealie saved the day, because it is exceptionally good, so reliable, so easy to use, and all these functions, as long as you remember to take out the metal before you use it as a microwave and things like that, which is not that hard. Once or twice, you know, you get in a rhythm of doing things as easy. So shall we go have a look at these? Because the truck goes away tomorrow, we're just going to quickly rush through to show you these shocks, because once they're fitted you won't be able to see them. But Mark went to somebody in Germany, and they have now finally, it was a big pain for him to get it imported in Britain.
They've got nothing to do with the German company, by the way. It's got to do with Brexit and getting stuff in here. It would have been easier driving there and having the very, very good German company fit them and drive back and not tell anybody I'd done it. Because it was a disaster. But it's like most things Brexit.
Absolutely. But we do have now these shocks, and they just arrived not that long ago, actually. By the time Mark got all these clearances done and all these harmonized codes, how it should go through for the paperwork and things like that, is it VAT applicable or not, and all that, so on.
Oh wow.
So that's the rear shock absorber, which I think, if I can actually show you, in fact we
Can't.
can't, no. But the shock absorbers that we have on the truck just now, they just look like Land Rover Defender shock absorbers. Are so small and skinny. But what I'll do is I'll have a look, and hopefully I get this right. This should be the yes, that there then is the front shock absorber, because that's got the pin on it. So that's a front and that's a back with the two hoops. So there we have it. That should hopefully be a seriously good improvement off-road. These are specifically made for this truck from the company, and we'll get them on, we'll see how they go, and then we shall let you know how well we get on with them.
We'll get her tidied up and get her ready for going away tomorrow.
Yeah, sounds good. So we stayed in Travelodge last night in Penrith, and we are on our way to Atkinson Was to do some things to the truck. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Okay. That's what we were going to do in the afternoon. So we're going to drop the truck off, be there for closer to 1 o'clock, and then Mark will tell everything what he needs done to the truck that they can help us with. And we're going to take train back and then come and collect it. That's the view. It looks really nice today. Yesterday was terrible weather, but today it's really bright. Makes a difference. Nice to be back in the truck. Keeps us thinking, I think.
Yeah, it's amazing because the kids are jumping in and this, you know, are we waiting for what, are we doing this, we're doing that. And like you said yesterday, you go up the stairs in the habitation pod, you walk in to make sure the cupboards are all shut, and you go through your standard little bits and pieces in your head before you take off. And you're immediately back there again.
You are, yeah.
It takes no time and you're like, you're just back used to it. Great.
Yeah, it's interesting because when we ask our children, where would you like to go? What do you prefer? You know, do you prefer the beach or the truck holiday or something? They always say truck. That is actually incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would think being a child, you would always prefer beach, but no with them. They obviously get a lot of goodness out of this. It's a challenge. I wouldn't call it a holiday either. I mean, especially the one coming up. So
No, these have never been holidays. I mean, they've never been, you know, we go on a 2-week holiday like everybody else. You know, and that's the whole point of this. We're trying to do this differently. But the trips that you do, albeit to go and see things, and yes, it's time away from work, but it's definitely not a holiday. You come back just as tired or worse when you leave. But certainly you come back a different person. You come back with different views and attitudes.
yeah, you come back as a different person, and your heart is definitely content and full. And
Yeah.
it's definitely where our heart lies. We need to juggle around with our work and responsibilities and schooling and stuff. It definitely has to come into play, but we like this.
I think it was also a progression. We've done this, I don't know, was it 12, 13 years ago, we were in Libya and things like that. But you get to a point where you're doing like package holidays, which are great. And you go away, we've done hundreds, away package holidays, you're on the beach. But we found ourselves when we were in Africa, Kenya originally, we got into the package holiday, we were at the beach, and we weren't there a couple of days, and we were out. We were away taking buses, and hear people saying, don't do that, don't do this. Because again, they want you to stay in about
The compound.
the holiday place.
Yeah.
We left, we went and booked other holidays and planes away out to the Masai and things like that. We were going to love for the savannas and things. Did that all in our own. So there was a breakaway point. We were like,
Yeah.
right, it's great, but we want to get out. We want to see more. We don't want to go and be in that.
Yeah, contained in one place. Yeah, definitely. I mean, even when we went to Jamaica, it was just pre-COVID. We booked some trips, and the river was tiny at the time, but we booked the trips to see the slave museum and the waterfalls and things like that. I mean, it definitely requires some form of effort, you know, but we can't help ourselves. We need to see. I think the world is just incredible, and yeah, we love exploring. and celebrating the little old living.
I think we talked about this yesterday, didn't we? And I think a lot of it, and certainly our experiences up till now, the media holds you in fear to sit about here and do nothing. But if you leave your front door, you're going to get all kinds of nasties happening to you. But we found it isn't the case. We found that any place that we went, I'll say specifically Morocco, because we spent more time there and we had more issues there, the Moroccan people just could not help you enough.
No.
You know, it wouldn't happen in Britain because people are not like that now. They're not built like that. Too scared to say or help or come up. Whereas it would just come up and help, you know, and it's a shame really.
Yeah, definitely. Your neighbor, well, our neighbor won't help as much as the Moroccans helped us at times in need. Yeah, we had this conversation with our head teacher for our kids yesterday. That's where this conversation actually originated from. Which we obviously are in talks with the school and thing because of this upcoming trip. Yeah. See how it all goes. We'll document what improvements we are doing on the truck, so maybe some people can bypass some so-called mistakes we made.
Yeah,
Make it cheaper.
absolutely, because at the end of the day you can go and buy one of these trucks from a reputable company, but you've got to make sure you've got a big wallet.
Yeah.
Because I mean, some of these trucks, we were looking at a second-hand truck, just in reference for a larger truck, and a second-hand truck with a bigger cab than this, same cab idea as that one there. These for second-hand ones, you're in excess of 600,000
Euros.
euros. You know, we just, like most people, we just don't have that kind of money. I understand where people sell their house and all the rest of it. They get to a certain time where their children are away, they've moved on, they sell their house, they buy a 3, 4, 500,000 pound unit like this because they'll keep their money, of course they will. And they go and they travel. That's not what this is all about. It's not what we're doing.
But we can't because we got work and we got children's schooling and things, and we have to find this balance. You know, we have to find the balance, but they do also get good schooling and rounded sort of experience. You know, with the travel and things, it's also educational, but you cannot replace schooling. I don't believe that.
Social side.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so we are part-time overlanders at the time, at this particular time. And that's how we are rolling. Might not be ideal. We'll just need to see how things go. But certainly this upcoming project we are going to be undertaking is going to be by far the greatest we have done. It's going to be a challenge, an absolute challenge for us all.
Yeah,
100%.
this is huge.
Serious, yeah, serious.
Huge for us, or for any part-time overlander, explorer kind of person. It would be big. It's going to be expensive. It's going to be time-consuming.
Life-changing.
Yeah, it's going to be big.
Yeah. So there you go.
Turn that way. I don't know if you'll see with the trees and whatnot. The little mining village to the left is here. It's beautiful down here as well. It's North England.
I love the colorful houses there.
It's lovely. I just see the train track in front of them, and it's a lovely, lovely place, North Yorkshire. Beautiful. It's worth coming to do overland trips just here.
Well, we did actually every time we stop in Yorkshire.
Yeah, it's lovely. Absolutely lovely. What to see and do here. You can see from this angle, you can see our blue
New shocks.
shocks there, which I must admit are working an absolute treat. I jumped in and it was like a different vehicle for a couple of reasons. There's the front ones there, you see.
Yeah, it was. You did say it was fabulous to
It
drive.
was great. At the start, it took a little to get used to, but after 20, 30 miles of the back roads, it was just great.
What do you think was like the biggest improvement?
It's not. I thought the cap on the torsion-free subframe was actually moving quicker than the body.
Right.
I don't know if it makes sense, but when I'm driving, you're going around corners, you felt this like almost too quicker move over, like the back was
A bit looser.
tilting
and then-
over kind of thing. And I just had to get used to that, get that out of my mind when I was driving, because I thought that was it. I thought that was the design of what I'd made, but it wasn't. It was actually the shock absorbers, because now it's just like a normal truck or a car. It just
Smooth.
tracks away fine and smooth. There's no like, flappy pendulum or anything. Like the shocks just.
Even I felt your speed was a wee bit more pacier. Did you not say so?
I was increasing my speed on back roads to see how it did handle. I wanted to, because we've got to remember again at that point we're completely empty. With no water, we didn't have the fuel tanks were not full. A lot of the stuff inside, there's no food, so we're as empty as this is ever going to be. So I thought I'd push it then just to see how it did act.
So yeah, so give me a little small talk about this handle that has been in discussions for a wee while. What are we planning to do
Well,
with that?
I've never been against it. We've always been for it. It's what to get.
Yeah.
You know, that just isn't. I'm not saying caravan-esque, but
So this is what he has sourced now.
there's all sorts. You know, is it Famia or something like that? You get one of them for caravans that pulls over the door and clicks in, so it's almost, or goes over the door and clicks in, so it's like another form of security. And I kind of half like that. I mean, we've got a secure enough door, and there's other ways people can get in apart from that.
If
But-
somebody wants to get in, they will get in anyway. But
Yeah, so I thought, well, maybe the American market
what is it?
might have been better. But size of the one is a caravan size. This one is,
Lend a hand.
is more for American RVs, which are considerably bigger. And I thought, well, that's going to be better, not for any other reason than our stairs down. So you've got to have like a couple of, whereas the caravan ones are quite small. You know, they're. So I've got this, which is absolutely ideal to the fact that I really, really like it. I really like it, but it's just cheap. You know, it fits on the side of the door like that, and then you pull it like that out with springs, and it comes out. It's got a nice foam handle. It comes out really quite far, and it's. I'll show you outside in a minute. It's really, really good. But if you can see in there, that's it. That's the working mechanism. It's just that little spring, and I'm like, oh, I can see this being left on the truck, and this all gone, and you know.
No doubt. The last thing you want that it gets stuck and you can't fold it in. That's my worry.
I wouldn't even worry about that. I mean, it's that cheap. You just give it a pull, snap the thing off. You know, it's never going to be an issue that way. But
I will film that a bit then.
I'll let you see it outside.
So Mark has installed the handle for the truck. So let's try it out and see how it works.
It falls off.
Hopefully not. Thank you. You can zoom in if you want. Oh, wow. Jesus, it's so lightweight. I was like trying to do it with both hands. That's great. So can I trial it?
It's there to prevent falls, not to stop
I don't know
falls. To give you some security.
It is, yeah. So let's have a look.